And just like that, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ango Show. My name is Ango, and I am joined by Billy TKO. Billy, what up, doe?
What up, doe, player?
Dude, we got a lot to talk about. So if you guys are here joining us today, we appreciate you.
As always.
Last night was WWE Raw, and you know, it was funny because I was like, damn, I'm really excited. I really can't wait to see what WWE has in store for us on Raw.
For sure.
Now, we're obviously going to talk about that.
Yeah.
A lot of big moments on Raw, a lot of stories being pushed, and a lot of things that just made me feel like Triple H is a freaking maniac. And it's all in good ways.
Yeah.
So definitely going to talk about that. If you guys want to support the show, the best way to do so, click like and click share. But if you guys want to support the show and take us to a whole different level, consider dropping a super chat that guarantees that your questions and comments get read. The super chat goal. I can't even talk anymore, bro. It's crazy. Isn't that insane? The super chat goal is now active. So if you guys want to help us out, let me actually just move that really quick. If you guys want to help us out and you guys want to support the show and you guys want to push the conversation further, please feel free and consider dropping a super chat. With that being said, shout out to the members in the chat. I see Justin Kennington and Darth Bane in the chat. I'm sure more and more will show up as time goes on. Billy, what the hell, bro? Last night's Raw. I don't know what else to say. Triple H is in his bag.
Bro, in a different type of bag too. I mean, it is insane. Dude, what we witnessed last night, number one, was needed. I think you would agree.
Yes, 100%.
Because we all speculated like, oh, what are they going to do after the whole Cena thing? How are they going to play into it, especially knowing that he wasn't going to be there?
Yeah.
And just the way that they executed that opening. And let's just be real here. Besides the opening and, you know, maybe a couple matches, it wasn't the biggest show of all time. It's just how it was executed. It was how it was played that made it feel massive.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like, obviously we're going to talk about some of the things that happen on Raw, but I think how you open a show, that's the tone.
Yes, it sets the tone.
And I think last night was a very, very, very good opening to Raw. Honestly, and I say this ever since Triple H started getting into booking WWE, and we saw with Matt Riddle and Seth, right? A long time ago.
Yep.
But when you could start a show with chaos, I think the crowd is just bought in right away.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's really interesting to me is last night's Raw kicks off with CM Punk, and it's not a CM Punk pipe bomb. He dropped a motherfucking nuclear bomb, bro. He dropped a fucking nuke.
Bro, look, that man came out last night and he told you flat out, he said, I'm liable to get us canceled off of Netflix. I'm a liability right now. I'm pissed. Dude, when you start off something like that, that's like your verbiage.
Yeah.
I knew instantly. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is about to get heated. This bullshit.
Yeah. He did it, man. He did it. He really, really started off the show hot. His promo was great. And the thing is, you have to wonder, like, how do you follow up with the John Cena heel turn, right? How do you follow up with the John Cena heel turn and the Rock thing? And they're not on Raw. So CM Punk comes out and he just goes, oh. And this is the CM Punk that I think many people want to see since his return to professional wrestling.
Yeah,
he dropped some great promos in AEW. Came to WWE and he's dropped some great promos in WWE. But the fire that he had in that promo last night, that's the CM Punk that we've wanted to see that we missed for 7 years.
It felt like he was shooting from the hip.
Yes. Oh, so good. So good. Then you get Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah.
When Seth Rollins is serious, Seth Rollins is MVP, bro.
For sure. For sure. Seth, regardless of what I say about his character and what I say about his look and stuff like that, regardless of that, I think Seth he knows how to set a tone
Yeah.
and he can get people invested,
Yes.
even at times where it's hard to maybe invest in to somebody like Seth Rollins, again, who I think just sometimes can be a little lackluster. But overall, like what we seen last night, and then what I think they're going to do next week.
Oh.
Oh, come on.
So that's the crazy thing, right? He drops the promo, they do the brawl, then they do this thing where they come back from commercial break and they still can't stop brawling. Amazing, 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 amazing. And obviously we'll talk a little bit more about this in depth throughout the show, but they very clearly have something really huge in the works for MSG because it's a steel cage match, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. And I think based on what we saw at the Royal Rumble, this is their opportunity to say Roman's gonna fucking go in that cage and unleash hell on both of them.
Yeah, because he's pissed.
And then it's like, okay, how do you get mad about that, right? Like, I think at that point, you are very much in the mix of like, you are about to do something crazy for WrestleMania. You are going to sell me on that triple threat match if that's what we get. Well, what's so crazy though is that promo by Punk was so good that now it's like, okay, WWE, at some point, you got to give me CM Punk and Rock. You got to give me CM Punk and Cena. You got to give me CM Punk and Cody tag teaming against them. You got to give me more of that because they just sold me on like 4 different storylines in one segment.
Yeah, I texted you last night and I said, we had made a video earlier in the day talking about how CM Punk could potentially be the next man. I now am in the thought process that there is no shot that CM Punk joins them.
But it's hard, bro, because you say that and then it's like he comes out and he does his thing. But the devil has a price, right? And for CM Punk, I think he's been so adamant about being Satan himself. So, maybe it's a possibility that they do use this as a swerve. Triple H said this. Nobody knows what's going down. They have swerves and turns.
He's made it very clear. He's made
very,
it
very clear. Very clear. And we're going to talk about it. We got a couple super chats. Delino Channel kicking things off with 100 rupees. He says, when we watch Backlash France and Bash in Berlin, we already know the outcome, but now it's unpredictable, and that makes the show in PLE exciting. I think last night's Women's World Championship match in the main event of Raw was clearly an indicator that Triple H is literally just fucking us up with swerves and turns.
We don't know shit that's going on. We could sit here and we could say like, oh yeah, we think this will happen. We think none of us really know.
Yeah.
After witnessing what we did last night, come on, man. Io Sky winning the World Heavyweight Championship might have been just about. It's definitely not as big as Cena, but what it is it's shocking. And Triple H, I talked about it in my video earlier, brought back the shock factor of pro wrestling without us thinking like a shock factor comes from like a return or a debut. No, storylines are shocking now.
Yeah. It's funny though, because it goes to show you, like even last week when we're doing our chamber prediction show and we're talking, we're like, man, just sometimes it feels like these long drawn out storylines are a little too predictable. Yeah. And that has been a valid criticism of Triple H booking, honest to God. Like it has been. And I always say being predictable isn't bad if you execute it well. So thankfully for Triple H, he has always executed well. However, now we're at a stage where like everything is unpredictable. Yep. I'm telling you right now, that steel cage match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk, I can easily say, hey, Roman gets in the cage and destroys both of them, and that's how they end the night. But who knows? At this point, Triple H is literally swerving everybody. And that makes me excited because that tells me WWE knows the road to WrestleMania is not going to be as predictable as we all think.
Yep.
And it tells me that Triple H is actually looking beyond WrestleMania. Yeah. Like they already know WrestleMania is a big thing. They already know, hey, some of this stuff that's happening right now. And I remember a year ago, we talked about it. Storylines under Vince do not end at WrestleMania. It's not like Vince. Vince always wanted the storylines to end at WrestleMania, and then the next day is kind of like a reset.
With Triple H, they don't end there.
Exactly. So to me,
you just get different payoffs there.
Yes, exactly. Or different swerves or a
Right.
different moment that triggers the next part of the story, the
Yeah.
next chapter. So, yeah, personally speaking, this is like to me, this is like a really, really exciting thing because Toledo Channel's right. When we watch Backlash France, when we watch Bash in Berlin, when we watch Bad Blood, there is a lot of predictability. I feel like we do know a lot of what's going on. Last night, this past week, this past month in WWE, they're basically
WrestleMania
telling
season, baby, we don't know shit.
we don't know anything, and it's not a clear cut, drawn path, and that's the way they
Well,
intend
he
it.
said it in the press conference. He said there's no set main event for WrestleMania yet. The fans will dictate what the biggest thing is going into Mania, and that's what's going to main event.
And I have a feeling after last night, WrestleMania Night 1, there is going to be a main event that nobody saw coming. We're going to talk about that.
Bring it on.
Shout out to Toledo Channel for the super chat. Shout out to Miles for extending the membership, renewed for 21 months, stuck in the mid card. What up, Ango and Billy? Shock after shock. Who do you think is the mystery man Chad met? And holy peak punk damn. What? Okay. Lucha Underground, anybody?
Yeah.
That Chad Gable thing reminded me of Lucha Underground so much.
Yeah.
I loved it. What's in the box? Who's the mystery man? Billy, what do you think?
I've seen some speculation, obviously, Aleister Black being one of them, potentially that being the mystery man, but also I think there's an argument that exists now of it potentially being Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix could potentially be the guy because Chad Gable is trying to stop Penta.
Yeah.
Who knows Penta the best? His brother.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Well, because here's the thing: is not only did we have that, but we also had the Judgment Day again, which at first it was like, oh, maybe they'll do it. They're teasing a new member.
Yeah.
So there's two things going on right now that predict either Aleister Black or Rey Fenix.
So we didn't get Rey Fenix last night.
No.
And obviously that would have been really cool if we did. But here's the thing. This is the big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a mid-card storyline.
Yeah.
That doesn't involve a championship.
With importance
and details and layers.
Yeah.
Whatever, whoever, I don't know. What's in the box? Some people on Twitter are speculating it's a luchador mask. I don't know. But what I'm saying is this. The one thing that would be really unique, and I know they won't do this.
What would be unique?
What would be really unique is if Chad Gable opens that box and there is some sort of weapon, something that becomes his signature, something.
Yeah, like
something
kind of.
Yes. And then Chad Gable kind of trolls everybody at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, to be the luchador, like he's just going to cheat. Like he's going to use that weapon or whatever is in that box.
What's the best thing that what's the best way to beat a luchador is you cheat.
Yeah, with some sort of weapon. Maybe it's like brass knuckles or something. I don't know. I just think that like this is not necessarily leading to Aleister Black. I don't think this is necessarily leading to Rey Fenix. I think there are ways to make that possible. I don't think that is the case. But I do think there is a lot of intrigue here because it could be anything. Maybe it's a luchador mask.
Yeah,
maybe.
Again, this is another one of those things where it's like we don't know. I know we're going to have to get to it soon because I can imagine they'll do some type of match potentially at WrestleMania or on just one of the Raws leading up. So my guess is that they're going to get to it soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, overall, it could be legitimately anything. There's so many different things that we could sit here and speculate. Again, I think it would be interesting if you involve Rey Fenix in this story.
I just don't want Rey Fenix going up against Penta.
Why not? Can I ask?
Yeah, because here's the thing. If you look at WWE's problems today, the one lingering problem that they currently have is that the mid-card on SmackDown is a little lackluster.
So you think Phoenix should go over to SmackDown?
If you're going to keep Penta a singles man,
which I think they will, because they've already introduced him as a singles guy, and then we have the presentation and everything like that people are loving. I think you'd be wrong to throw him back into a tag team with Rey Fenix so soon.
I don't think it would be wrong. I don't think it's wrong.
I do because of how soon it is.
But at the end of the day, that was what they were. The
Right.
only reason why Penta showed up as a singles guy was because Ray Phoenix was locked in Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo Bay, where? Oh man,
It's a running gag on Twitter. But if you're gonna keep Ray Phoenix singles, you don't do it on Raw. Put him on SmackDown for the US title.
fair.
Let them go and build him with Carmelo Hayes.
Right.
And when Miro and Aleister Black show up, and then that's your mid card on SmackDown, and you build that division up. I think Penta is great as a solos guy. I love him as a solo artist. Like, he is amazing. I have no problem with that. I'm cool with it. I'm on board with it. I just think if you are the WWE and you are going to keep them separate as singles guys, you don't do it on Raw. Both of them not on Raw. However, what I will say is whatever's in that box with Chad Gable, whatever they're telling, I do think it's going to lead, which preferably if I had a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I would do is have a multi-man tag team match at WrestleMania. So if we're not going to get a multi-man Intercontinental Championship match, then give me American-made, War Raiders, Judgment Day, Penta, and Phoenix, LWO. Like, give me like 6 teams, bro. Give me like 6 tag teams, ladder match, or
a
something.
Tag team gauntlet match or something.
Something, yes.
Yeah.
And then whatever's in that box with Chad Gable, that could be the way Chad Gable helps American-made win.
That's fair. You could do something.
Especially if you
like
have
that.
LWO in the match, especially if you have Penta and Phoenix, you know, you have a whole bunch of luchadors, and then Chad Gable, whatever's in that box, that could be the thing that helps Chad Gable win the titles for Brutus and Julius.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's an interesting thing. I can't wait to see how this develops, though. Shout out to Miles. Todd Crow renewing membership for 24 months. Shout out to Todd Crow. Thank you very much. DirectTube, $5 super chat. Seth and Punk is done after Monday. Punk is going to find a way into Cody Cena business.
Okay. Look, I have a thought on that.
Let's hear it.
I do see a world where this could actually make sense and this could actually be true. Because there's 2 scenarios here. One being that they just give us the triple threat match. And I think that's the easy route that we're all going to predict. But I think that there is a world where we see potentially with Paul Heyman, him enter into this Cody Cena Rock thing. And I figured there's a chance that you talk about it because I seen you tweeted it on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Or you X'd it, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I think we see a world where the potential of a night 1 main event being a tag team match.
Yeah.
I think that is something that could actually play out here.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to do something with Cena and Punk down the line, which obviously, again, we talked about it potentially them teaming up or whatever, but there's also a hint that this could be you remember that Summer of Punk in 2011?
Yeah, of course.
Then here you go. You can do it again with John Cena.
So one thing I will say, what I like about this super chat, if you want to do this, because I've told you before, preferably Seth and Roman having a singles match at WrestleMania would be amazing, right?
Yeah.
So let's say CM Punk calls in his favor at MSG. He calls in his favor. Paul Heyman, get Roman off my back. I want Roman off my back. Maybe this favor isn't that massive of a storyline thing. Get Roman off my back. Roman comes in, destroys Seth, and that's the reason for Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania. And then at WrestleMania, CM Punk, night 1 main event, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes versus John Cena on The Rock.
Boom. Simple.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No, I wouldn't either.
What's really cool about this, though, and where I do give props to Triple H, right, is the fact that we are in a situation right now, as it stands, thank God, that this is a massive storyline that's taking place on Raw. We saw it, for months and months and months. Having a storyline culminate at Raw and then CM Punk moving on is not a bad thing. It just makes Raw much more important. It makes me feel like I have to watch WWE Raw at Madison Square Garden. Yeah. So if this is the way to do it, I'm okay with that.
So am I. I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I love it. Shout out to DREC2 for the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Phil dropping $9.99. He says the timeline we are in is insane. A Cena heel turn at Elimination Chamber and EO winning the women's championship. Not only that, but Punk taking off the Raw sleeve in a pipe bomb like promo. I mean, come on, this is crazy. Yeah, this is.
That man said, I am a liability to get us canceled off Netflix.
So good, man.
Bro, that to me, like, I don't know what it was about when he said it. It felt like the Punk that we all knew and love.
I genuinely believe, and I genuinely, like I said it earlier, but like the Punk that was in AEW was really good promo art, right?
Yeah,
really good.
Sure. Him and MJF, they did great things together.
Great promos.
Yeah.
I will never take that away from his run in AEW. And that's where AEW kind of just let him off the cuff. When Punk came into WWE, it's not that his promos were bad, but you could tell they're a little scaled down.
Well, it was the one thing that you could criticize if you wanted to criticize Punk. It was the one thing that you could critique and be like, well, that's not the same Punk that I remember.
Yes. Last night's promo trumped every promo he has dropped on Raw, on SmackDown.
And it just smacked all the critics in the face.
Yeah.
Smacked to every critic that has been like, oh, he's too on the leash there. You know, they're not letting him be himself. This, that. No, he was himself very clearly last night.
Oh,
the difference about it is instead of it being on a random Wednesday, it happens when it's warranted.
Yes.
Because last night, as you could see, he had gotten beaten in the Elimination Chamber. You think I've exhausted every opportunity or chance to get to the main event? It's warranted. It's showing you that his run or his drive to get to the main event of WrestleMania is beyond important. And they are telling you right now in your face that, hey, no, we're not going to have Punk go out there and drop a fucking pipe bomb every week, because after that, it's not special anymore.
So this is the argument that a lot of people have a hard time coming to grip with. Yeah. But it's like Cody Rhodes telling The Rock, go fuck yourself. If that happens every single week, then guess what? It's not a big deal. It's not special. It's not important. The wow factor comes from the fact that things don't happen often. So when you see WWE having real barbed wire in a match, when you see WWE having blood in a match, when you see WWE letting their wrestlers cut a promo and swear and feel of that unscripted nature, if that happens every single week, it no longer feels like a big deal. There's no longer that shock factor. There's no longer that element that makes you feel like, holy shit. So WWE has done a really good job of making things feel special. And, you know, I know that people who watch my AEW content are going to hate this, but sometimes that's the reason why moments are bigger than they actually are in WWE versus AEW. If AEW has, you know, and trust me, I see the tweets going up about CM Punk talking about the fake title. Then the IWC immediately responds with,
hold on. I have to say, the real world championship and him coming out and say that was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you look at this from a WWE perspective and CM Punk, you know, taking shots, people calling him a hypocrite. Guys, you're watching a scripted wrestling show.
Yeah.
CM Punk was on a scripted wrestling show where they had a real world championship. And at the end of the day, we could sit here and talk about Punk being a hypocrite, but guess what? That doesn't make Punk a hypocrite. That's the show that Tony Khan booked.
Right.
So at the end of the day,
and that also has nothing to do with this show.
Exactly. So the nice thing is, we are in a crazy timeline in professional wrestling. With WWE, they have realized, okay, the Cena heel turn, nobody really saw coming. EO winning the women's championship, definitely nobody saw that coming. And then Punk opening up the show, basically dropping a fucking nuke. Yeah, the reason why it works so well is because WWE has realized if we do this all the fucking time, it doesn't work.
It's not
but
special.
Now they're doing it once in a while. And then, by the way, what did this tell you about Raw last night? How many people sit there and say, I could just watch. It's on Netflix. I can just watch it later.
That you have to watch every week.
And that's the game.
You don't know because here's the thing. We don't know what, like, this is what gets me excited, right? Is we don't know what the WrestleMania card looks like fully yet.
Yeah.
We know the championship matches. That's about it.
Yeah.
WWE could have easily been like, oh, Rollins and Punk at Mania. We would have all been like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. They'll do it there.
Yeah.
Instead, they sell you, no, we're doing it in MSG in a steel cage match next week, which makes you need to tune in next week. They do something there, which could potentially lead to what happens at WrestleMania. So they are telling you that you have to watch weekly because you don't know when shit is going to take place.
Yeah.
You don't know the outcome of these things the way that you used to. We were conditioned as wrestling fans to think a certain way by Vince McMahon.
Yep.
Today, it is much different.
Oh yeah.
Much different.
Oh,
We
yeah.
are no longer in that condition of shock factor happens here, here, and here. It could happen on a random ass Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no real answer.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. And I think that's why it's such an enjoyable product to watch. You know, it's definitely like they are getting people tuned in, right? They're getting people tuned in. They're taking advantage of this. The momentum is hot. And then, by the way, we haven't even talked about this, but then when you watch Raw and you have this segment with Karrion Kross and AJ Styles, and now next week AJ Styles is calling out Logan Paul, right? Or how about this? How about Otis going into a chop war with Gunther and the crowd is going crazy, right? Or how about the fact that you have American Made and the War Raiders going out there and having an absolute fucking banger, right? Ivy Nile and Lyra Valkyria mid-card championship feud. There's stuff there that is happening across the show. So they give you a couple big moments, but in the middle, they're giving you some great stuff to watch as well.
Again,
It's a formula that fucking works.
there's something for everybody.
100%.
You want a banger match? Dude, Triple H will give it to you. He might not give it to you all across the fucking board,
Yeah.
but he's going to give it to you. If you want good storytelling, you're going to get that.
But you know how we're talking about things that are special, right?
Yeah.
If every single match is a 5-star banger, then what's
it doesn't matter. Again, that was always AEW's problem that we all went out there and said, yes, AEW has good wrestling matches. We talk about that all the time. We know they put on good wrestling matches. The problem is they do it in every single fucking match.
So there was a tweet that I responded to. It's like one of those grifter accounts, whatever. Sort of confirms my theory that WWE fans don't go to the shows to see matches. They go to see the stars. Like they'll tell their buddies they saw CM Punk and Seth Rollins and Rhea Ripley, but they won't brag about seeing a really good match. And then I said, your theory confirms that more people are willing to spend their money on that than great matches. If that's the business model that's working, maybe more should try to focus on creating storylines, great storylines, and creating stars, which I think is a very clear indication. If you look at WWE and what they've done at this point, bro, people go to these shows. Look at the energy from that crowd last night. The reason for that is not because it was a great match. It's because you're getting these great emotional moments where people are invested. And the reality is Triple H has figured out a way. Two things. He's figured out a way to make things more special. And now he has officially figured out ways to really swerve the fans. And I think that right there is one of the biggest reasons why WWE continues to remain hot. If WWE surprises you every week, then guess what? It's no longer fun, right?
Exactly.
Like we got Ricky Saints at NXT.
Yep.
Massive surprise moment. Why? Because we don't get surprises like that all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Phil for the super chat. D-Rec Tube dropping 2. He says Roman is spearing Seth through the cage.
That's fine.
Oh, let that main event. Let that main event.
Oh, what, next week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The cage match is for sure main eventing. There's no way it doesn't.
If it's not main event, I'll go crazy.
Yeah. No, WWE, they're gonna make that the main event.
Listen, we'll see if he goes after Punk and Rollins, we'll see. But and no matter what, if he, Punk and Roman feud could be huge.
Dude, the Roman Rollins feud excites me.
So that's the thing, right? They can go triple threat, they could go singles versus singles, or they could do the other singles match. No matter what, I don't think there is a lose-lose situation here.
I think the person that he's really out for blood for. Because here's the thing: is we talk about this favor thinking that it's going to happen now. No. This favor can happen whenever the hell it wants to.
Yeah.
There's no timeline. They never put a timeline on when this favor is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
If we're thinking reality based, if we're thinking from the chair shot to last year's WrestleMania, being the Shield, all of those things. Roman really wants Seth more than he wants Punk because
100%.
Punk just annoys Roman.
Yeah.
He's just annoying. He's like a fly on the wall. You won't leave. You won't leave me alone.
Rollins changed Roman.
Rollins changed Roman. He changed everything that we knew about Roman. He made Roman change his mindset.
Yeah.
He made him think about things that he did not want to think about. Rollins lives inside of Roman's head rent free. So if WWE just wants to have a singles match between Seth and Roman, which they've done numerous times, problem is they haven't done it on this level.
Yeah.
You can do a match 20,000 fucking times. If there's no importance behind it, I'll never remember it. This has importance. I could feel it now. It's not just a Vince McMahon, oh, put Roman and put Seth in the match because, well, they're Roman and Seth. No, it's put Roman and Seth in there because of the Shield. Put Roman and Seth in there because of Cody. Do that. Make it make sense. And WWE has a really good idea on how they're going to form this.
Yeah.
And I think, Direct Tube, you're absolutely right. He's spearing Seth through the cage, no doubt. I do think that WWE wants Punk potentially a part of that Cody storyline because of the past with John Cena and things of that. I feel like that with CM Punk is a little more important than what this is because we've already seen Seth and Punk.
Yeah.
We've already got to see it. We're going to see it again next week. We won't get a finish, but we'll see it.
So one thing that they could do as well, which I think is a really cool thing, like this could be really cool. You can actually do a triple threat match at WrestleMania and you could have Punk win the triple threat match.
Yeah.
Because of Roman and Seth just getting into each other's heads and then letting that become the major storyline for the summer for Roman. And then Punk can move forward with the John Cena, The Rock, and Cody business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's even an opportunity where CM Punk gets that massive, massive match at WrestleMania and wins. And by the way, you now tell another story that brings Seth and Roman to singles, which I think both of those guys egotistically costing themselves the WrestleMania match and then Punk winning, which is really cool, gives them both reasons to follow up and go after Punk later on once they're done with each other, which is how you can get Roman and Punk. And then maybe a year from now, that's when Punk calls in his favor to Paul Heyman for Roman Reigns.
Yeah. The thing is there's not a timeline on Punk. Punk's not saying he's retiring.
Yeah.
It's not like we have this timeline. We know he signed for multiple years.
Yeah.
Dude, let these stories play out. Let's enjoy them.
Yeah, 100%.
We got all the fucking time in the world with this guy.
A million ways to go about it. That's the cool thing.
Million.
I love that's becoming a common trend on our live shows too, is the fact that like there's literally millions of ways they can go about these things. And I don't think any of them sound bad.
Yeah. And it's something that we've been talking about so much that I think people are just now becoming accustomed to what we're doing on the live show, having these discussions. And it's in this live show that we're not going over the show like, oh, you know, this happened and this happened. It's we're giving you the what it could look like.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's like, and it's nothing against the people that do it, but I think when you review it, when you review every single match and every single segment, that to me, that's no fun. I like ideas. I like creativity. So the thing is, like, I could tell you, oh, I thought this match was really cool. Oh, I really like this moment in this match. Oh, I really thought this was whack. No, the thing is, I think a lot of things that happen in TV, it's nice to talk about what it could potentially lead to, and also dissecting some of the things that have happened and how those layers bring us to those potential opportunities.
Right.
So yeah, shout out to Direct2 for the $2 super chat. Tolino Channel dropping 100 rupees. He says the different video styles of Chad and LWO was very good. Hope Chad in Mexico finding the key to Lucha style links to Lucha Underground reference. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that in the beginning of the show. There's always that chance.
And you never know. I swear, you never know what it could lead to. The thing that really impresses me here, though, is, and I know it started with Jeremy Borash. When Jeremy Borash came into WWE and was working under Triple H, some of these creative segments that they've had, whether it was NXT or the main roster, Jeremy Borash was an influence. I don't know if he's got that same influence now today. I know he's doing stuff with WWE LFG, but when Jeremy Borash came into WWE, they've done video styles like this, these little video packages outside of the ring, and they are really, really good. And the one thing I say, guys, I tell you guys, TNA WWE, AEW, anytime they do something like this, I clap for them because I just think it's really cool to tell a story that's not necessarily in the ring, in the arena, that type of thing.
It's adding intrigue.
Yes.
Adding intrigue is the most important thing about pro wrestling, and people can debate it, you can argue it, you can bitch about it, you can do whatever. Intrigue is the most important thing about pro wrestling, and what these vignettes do is they add intrigue.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Tolino Channel for the super chat. Andre Benson dropping $2. Tina's heel turn put us in an alternate universe.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, it did, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what timeline we're in right now, but we're here.
It's dude.
I seen a video of somebody being like, oh yeah, like slap a suit on Cena, but make it like an all black suit.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that'd be fire. Imagine if we mix what you said yesterday with no entrance.
Yeah.
Dude just walking out with like a fucking briefcase or something, an all black suit.
I can now wait to see how they follow up.
Bro, and like I think I texted you last night. Raw's gonna be at 1 p.m. because it's in Belgium.
I like that. I'm geeked.
So it's gonna be at 1 p.m. on the 17th.
We just do a post show that day.
Yeah, so that day we'll do a Raw post show because I think Cody and Cena are scheduled.
Yeah.
For that day.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so
because
good.
Because Netflix, they air it at the time that is it happening in the country.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I'm happy about that. I'm so geeked. That live post show is gonna be fucking insane.
Bro, it's gonna be fucking insane. We're gonna be here, baby.
Yeah, I can't wait. You guys better.
Everybody make sure to pull up on the 17th because I'm interested to see what they're going to do with John.
Gonna be good. Shout out to Andre Benson for the super chat. Miles dropping $2. What if it was old Dario Cueto that Chad box? Oh, maybe giving him the box. Dario Cueto from Lucha Underground is currently in MLW. I don't think WWE is bringing him in. I don't know if that's the case. However, that video package reminded me so much of Lucha Underground that I could see why people would love that. What I think will be very, very interesting here, though, is how they reveal what's in the box and what's the payoff to this particular storyline. Because Chad Gable right now, as it stands, he's got American Made, and then you obviously have his whole journey of trying to beat luchadors. So could this lead to, American Made versus LWO? Will this lead to American Made versus the Lucha Bros and Rey Mysterio?
There's so many that it could lead to. The number one thing is it now we kind of, what we were kind of complaining about now kind of adds intrigue with the tag team division on Raw.
I see a lot of people in the chat are saying Patriot mask, which I really don't want to see them put a mask on Chad Gable.
No, please, God, just don't. Just don't do that.
But I'm not going to judge anything before it happens because guess what?
It could be great.
Yeah.
We could sit here and shit on it. We don't even know what's happened yet.
Yeah. I want to see it paid off extremely well.
So do I.
Clearly they had a vision for it. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miles. Tolino Channel dropping 200 rupees. Gunther should go through Jay's mind and make him doubt whether he can do it. When Yoko Rock were champions, his dad worked hard but failed to be the top guy, and that will be his fate too. 7 weeks left. Well, Gunther choked out Jey Uso yesterday. So obviously they're doing a really good job of making me believe that Jey Uso can't win. I genuinely believe that Jey Uso is winning at WrestleMania. My plan between him and Sami Zayn is 100% what I truly believe will happen. I've been saying that for several months now, and I can't wait the day after WrestleMania or the live post show when Jey Uso wins. I'm going to brag about it even more. And then when Sami Zayn returns, eventually, right? He's been written off TV. Once he eventually returns and he turns heel, I can't wait to brag about that. And it's going to be very, very fun. I'm going to do the Young Bucks victory lap around my basement. And by the way, just a quick thing to mention too, because we never factored this in. Sami Zayn has been written off TV. He's out indefinitely. A lot of people don't know that he does celebrate Ramadan. Yeah, so he is fasting. He's going to take his time and he's going to be fasting and stuff. So it actually makes even more sense that Sami Zayn got written off. And it's going to even be better when he eventually turns heel on Jey Uso once Jey Uso beats Gunther.
Yeah, because inevitably that's happening.
Yep.
We know that's happening now.
And then Triple H can hand me my contract to be the head creative writer for WWE. And unless it's like $10 million, I'm not accepting. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. I'm trolling.
This
But I'm
guy's
just
playing
saying,
with our livelihoods. He's telling these people we want a job.
eat.
Yay.
Thank you, Tolino Channel, for the super chat. Appreciate you, my boy. We got some more to get through. A lot of great things in the chat. So thank you guys. Cole Couture dropping $5. Personally, I think it should have been Ripley versus Charlotte. Ripley versus Charlotte 3. Charlotte going after Tiffany Stratton just doesn't make sense. Tiffany retains. So before I hand it off to you, Billy, to discuss, I just want to say, had last night not happened, I would have 1,000,000% agreed.
Mm-hmm.
If last night did not happen, I would have 100% agreed with this. However, after last night, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, those 3 women have completely sold me on them in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. The Rock and John Cena aren't doing that tag team match that we kind of talk about, right? If that's not happening, give me Bianca, Io, and Rhea in the women's main event and let them wrestle for 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Let them go off and shock the world with a Bianca Belair official heel turn to win the belt.
That'd be a solid way to turn her heel. That would be. But Cole, to answer this, the reason why they did Charlotte and Tiffany was a lot of the comparison in the Tiffany come up, right? She needed somebody like Charlotte really bad. Tiffany really did. She needed because people will say like, oh, Nia Jax, she beat Nia Jax. Like, yeah, she did. Nia Jax isn't like, she doesn't feel as big as a Charlotte to me. So Tiffany right now in where she's at, she's obviously had one of the hottest years, no pun intended, in pro wrestling. And Charlotte just helps that.
Yeah.
And it makes her more of a legitimate, I don't want to say threat, but more of a legitimate person that you as a fan and as a viewer need to take serious. So whether win, lose, or draw, Tiffany comes out of this match a very, very big deal.
Yeah.
And that's the importance of Tiffany versus Charlotte. Because whether or not you hate Tiffany, or excuse me, not Tiffany, Charlotte, regardless whether you hate her or not, you have to respect her importance.
Yeah.
You have to understand that she is a big deal in this women's division. And yes, the Raw women's division looks really good right now. SmackDown just feels a little more lackluster. But again, let these things play out. I agree with you. I think Tiffany should retain.
Yeah.
I don't think she will, but I do think she should.
Yeah.
Ultimately, no matter what, Tiffany comes out a big deal out of that match.
I agree.
And that's the importance of Charlotte picking her.
If they can use this to catapult Tiffany after, 100%.
Yes, I think we've talked about it, her going into a feud with Trish following. Like, there are so many good things that WWE can do with Tiffany after this. She's so young. Her future is bright. She's going to be a long-lasting person on this show.
Yeah.
Make her feel important.
Yeah.
These people don't
next wave.
Yeah, exactly. She's part of the next wave. She doesn't have to hold the belt for 2 years or anything like that. Yeah. She just needs to have a good run with it and a really good match with Charlotte to really prove the point here. Because we know Charlotte can have a good match. Can Tiffany have a great match?
That's fair question. Yeah. Shout out to Cole Couture for the $5 super chat. Phil dropped another super chat, but the chat is going by so fast. You guys are just so fast in the chat that I can't even pull it up at this point now. Yeah. Phil dropped $9.99. He says, if you both saw the backstage interview with Rhea, I have a feeling with how isolated she's been with no allies in sight and Damien being on another show, I can see another heel turn for Rhea. Thoughts? I'm glad this got brought up because I saw it. It felt very natural, unscripted.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to see Rhea go heel.
No.
However, what I will say is I wouldn't mind seeing her do a character change. Something slightly different. a little bit of a change. That backstage interview was very, very good stuff.
Yeah, I think we're too tied to the Judgment Day Rhea Ripley still.
Yes.
We're still a little too tied to that right now. And
Yeah.
she actually mentioned that in that little backstage promo. You know, she's put so much thought into the Liv Morgan thing, the Dom thing, the Judgment Day thing. And that we're starting to see that play out on TV, which I didn't actually think was going to happen. I thought Rhea was just going to kind of go out and be Rhea and be fine.
Yeah.
Now realizing like, oh shit. Again, this is where WWE gets you. Rhea Ripley is still a fucking human being.
Yeah.
And no matter what we think, Dominic, the Judgment Day, Liv, those people have gotten in her head. She feels something towards them. I was told when I was really young, a person cannot make you feel a certain way. You have to allow that person to make you feel that way.
Yes.
Rhea has allowed these people to make her feel the way that she does and act the way that she is. She's taking her mind off of the importance. The importance is the World Heavyweight Championship. We were so like, just like, oh yeah, Rhea is a badass without Rhea doing any badass shit. Now this is where you get an opportunity for Rhea to go be a badass without the Judgment Day. You don't have to turn her heel for her to be a badass.
Exactly.
You just let her go be a badass.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, I love that backstage segment. I thought it was very human like. And in my pro wrestling, I don't know how you guys enjoy it, but I know that I enjoy the human side of things.
When things feel real and organic and authentic, it's really good. And I think maybe that's probably why, like even with like the CM Punk and Seth Rollins thing, they do a good job of really making you sell that. They sell the idea of, man, these guys probably fucking genuinely hate each other, right?
Dude, the flipping off and the water bottles being thrown.
Yeah, like, and I think maybe that's why Drew McIntyre has been incredibly great too, because Drew McIntyre always makes it feel like, man, he's disgruntled. He's like this pissed off guy. Like he fucking hates being in the WWE, but it's not. It's just, it's these people's characters when they feel more human and feel more organic and authentic, that comes across very well on TV. That's what we saw with Rhea Ripley. And I think with Rhea Ripley, I don't want to see a heel turn, but I do want to see a little bit of a character change. And I do think that's where we're headed. I think we're going to see a different version of Rhea going on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just going to be more badass, and I think it's going to be more of her rather than Judgment Day version of her.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Phil for that super chat. Sorry I couldn't put it on the screen, but thank you. Tolino Channel dropping 100 rupees. He says, if Becky comes back, Lyra is the best opponent. Lyra beat Becky for the NXT Championship. Becky's road to first ever true Triple Crown champ. Okay, I don't hate this idea at all. It would be really huge for Lyra Valkyria, but I'm going to ask you a question, Billy, and then you'll give me your response because this one is really big. Did you see the Becky Lynch tweet?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so Becky Lynch put out a tweet. She deleted it because it was very, very fucked up, to be honest.
Very, very controversial.
But I put out a tweet and I'm asking you, would you rather see Becky and Seth versus Punk and AJ Lee at WrestleMania, or would you rather see Seth versus Roman versus Punk?
Okay, so look, the fan in me wants to see Seth, Roman, and Punk.
Yeah.
The real fan of me, and like the entertainment side, because let's be real here, AJ Lee, Punk, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins would be so exciting and such a cool thing for the fans.
Yeah.
That like, again, it just depends how you want to. I don't think you can do that because of the seriousness behind Seth and Punk. This feud has became leave the wives at home.
Yeah.
You know, leave the wives at home, leave the parents at home. Nobody can watch this. We're going to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that as much as exciting as it sounds. Again, Becky and AJ both feel like just, you know, side pieces to this. It's like the women just throwing jabs at one another, you know, oh, my husband, da da da. That's what that feels like versus these two really feel like they want to kill each other.
Yeah. What I will say is this, because it's so hard to answer this question, I think both could be really good.
Yeah, for sure. Like an entertainment side,
yeah,
we would say that's really cool. But the seriousness
Yeah, the only way this would work is what do you do with Roman? And then at that point, you would have to have Roman and Cody versus The Rock and Cena. That's the only other spot for Roman at WrestleMania, which I don't think this is the case. I don't think AJ Lee and Becky get involved just yet. I do think at some point they do. I do think in 2025 or 2026, we see the return of AJ Lee. And I think we see Becky and Seth 100% heel. 100% heel. So, in order for that to work, I think Seth needs to lose to Roman
Yes.
or Punk at WrestleMania
Yep.
and then do that singles feud with Roman.
Because I do
after.
think eventually we're going to get the Seth heel turn as well.
Yeah, it's 100% brewing.
Yeah. I mean, you could feel it.
Yeah. Shout out to Tolino Channel for the super chat. D-Rec-Tube dropping $2 says Seth is the cause of all Roman's failures.
Fuck yeah.
He
That's what I
is.
was saying earlier.
And that's why I think, like, when I asked the question, okay, would you rather see Becky and Rollins versus AJ Lee and Punk? Like, that's a match I want, but you could do that at SummerSlam. You could do that at Bad Blood. You know, the thing is, these B-level pay-per-views, if you want to make them feel bigger,
You
put
could
big
do
marquee matches.
Yeah, exactly. You could do some shit like that because like again, Punk and Rollins, they're going to continue off after Mania. So to get into continue these storylines, that would be a really good match for like Backlash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It helps add intrigue for the casual viewer. There's so many things and so many variables that go into that.
Yeah.
But yes, D-Rec-Tube, Seth absolutely is the cause of all the Roman failures. Roman probably wants to rip his head off.
I'll never forget. I don't know if it was Royal Rumble or what PLE it was. I can't remember, but I'll never forget when Seth Rollins versus Roman happened, and Seth came out in the Shield music and the Shield gear.
It was the
and
Royal
Roman,
Rumble of 2024, 2023.
something like that. I don't remember. I'm very bad with timelines.
Me
but
too.
I remember that, and I just remember being like, "Oh, Seth and Roman." Like, dude, now after everything that's ever happened, plus after this year's Royal Rumble, I need to see Seth and Roman in some capacity.
Seth was the person that really took the most important thing in Roman's life.
Yeah.
And that was that title.
Yep.
Seth, yes, Cody won it. Seth is the reason that he doesn't have it anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. Shout out to D-Rec-Tube for the super chat. Cole Couture dropping another super chat, $5. When the hell are we going to get Dom versus Ray mask versus hair match?
Yeah, you still got some years. You don't have to do that right now.
If Rey Mysterio was retiring this year, it would have happened this year.
Right.
Oh, I don't think Ray's retiring,
It
but
just
when
tells
Ray,
you that Ray's not done yet.
Yeah.
Ray's last match will be against his son.
Yeah, for sure. And I do think maybe next year that could be the case.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You hear Ray talk about it in like interviews and stuff like that, like on Impulsive. He was like, my knees feel great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess you never really know what the timeline is for a pro wrestler.
Exactly. But
Ray's he's still doing great, by the way.
You know, the thing is though, like, you know, we talked about it yesterday. I think Ray is like, they got to make room for the next Ray. They got to put that next luchador in the forefront of WWE. They haven't done that yet, and they have so many guys they could pick from. They got to do it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you go out and you get rid of Ray.
No.
But you do have to. But again, I think that's where somebody like Penta. The thing is nobody latched onto a luchador like they did with Rey Mysterio.
For sure.
Nobody has latched on to anybody because let's just take Dragon Lee, for example. Dragon Lee is super good, and we know he's super good. But there's so many comparisons to Rey Mysterio that it's hard to latch onto it. Versus somebody like, okay. But there's somebody like Penta, for instance, who we know is a luchador, but doesn't feel like a Rey Mysterio luchador.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to be the determining factor of the next big luchador in WWE. God forbid, I hope there's more.
Yeah.
I hope there's more than just one Rey Mysterio, right? Yeah. I want to see numerous of these guys come out because they're all so talented. But overall, I think that is the deciding factor. It's that we've seen too many like Rey Mysterio and nothing different from him.
So the thing is, where I really point this out though is like, okay, next week we'll have the New Day versus Dragon Lee and Ray.
Yeah.
Cool. But Dragon Lee being associated with the LWO, it's like, bro, put Dragon Lee on SmackDown in the US title picture, put him over there. That's your chance to organically create your next luchador. Now, The one thing I will say that I truly appreciate, and thank God this is the case. We don't have another Sin Cara thing where they're forcing another
Yes,
luchador.
yes, because that's the thing is you can't force these people down your throats. This is actually a topic for like all wrestlers, right? Like, thank God we don't have that anymore, where nobody
Yeah.
feels forced down our throat. Like, you can make arguments like, oh yeah, we see this guy all the time, or we see that guy all the time. Nobody's being forced down your throat.
No, the way they've organically booked
Yes,
matches. And
nobody
stuff.
feels force fed.
Yeah. The one thing I will say was I did get that vibe with Braun Breaker and NXT 2.0, but then eventually that shifted, so it wasn't that bad. Definitely Braun Breaker was being forced down in NXT. But then once he came to the main roster, everything just happened organically and he got extremely over. And and that's the thing. When you have really, really good matches and really great personality and charisma, and you go out there and the fans get attached to you, that's naturally going to be them asking for you to push them. And I think that's huge.
I can't stop laughing. One of the people in the chat is that Ray stem cells are like Captain America's super soldier serum.
At this point, yeah. That's true. But Ray's going at it, man. So to answer the super chat, when Ray's ready to retire, we get it.
Yep.
And I said this like 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. I stand by this 100% fully with all my heart. When Dominic Mysterio, he's a great heel, but eventually they can make him a massive baby face.
A little overrated.
When he beats Ray, when he beats Ray and retires Ray, I would go fully all in with the Prince Mysterio gimmick and dark Rey Mysterio.
Well, that will be the time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely be the time to do it.
I can't wait for that time, though. Dom is really, really good. So, shout out to Cole Couture for the super chat. Tolino Channel dropping another super chat, 100 rupees. When Bianca put her hands on Rhea, Jessica Carr can call DQ, but she didn't. That was the turning points. Jessica should get a Charles Robinson treatment. No, I'm glad that she didn't call a DQ, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, I don't give a fuck.
We got Io Sky winning the belt. I don't care. I'm glad that didn't happen. And Jessica Carr.
And it just made Jessica feel like the really cool ref.
Yeah. And I don't want to hear anybody complaining about this fucking bullshit, because for the last 6 years that AEW has been putting on TV, the refs have been the fucking worst part. So,
you want to talk about Stevie Wonder? I don't see shit. Go watch AEW.
I'm not going to sit here. I swear to God, I'm being serious. I'm not going to sit here and complain or criticize this, because for 6 years we've been letting the company get away with it, and it's happened a lot. So that's just my opinion.
Yep.
Shout out to Tolino Channel. MDH Sports dropping $9.99. Shout out to MDH Sports. I think Punk and Randy turn on Cody in the next year. The Rock held up 2 fingers when at Bad Blood he held up 3 fingers. 3 fingers. I think that means 2 more people will turn on Cody.
Oh, that's really whoa.
I think so too.
I don't think this is who's joining The Rock. I think this is that's really fucking good.
Yeah.
This could be bigger than The Rock.
Oh, it is. I told you, man, this big corporation, WrestleMania. You shit on me when I told you. I'm like, guys, it's going to happen. They are going to have Cody down, bloody, looking like he's fucking dead in this new corporation storyline, faction, whatever.
Yeah,
they're going to be
what
doing
if
their
that thing? What if it's deeper than that, though? What if it's not so much about a faction? And I think he's saying it right here. 2 more people will turn on Cody.
Yeah.
What if it's deeper than The Rock actually being involved? I know we've involved The Rock right now, but what if this is just a sign that Cody isn't taking? Cody, pay attention. Think about the other 2 people that are important to you in WWE right now. They're going to get you too. Cena was the first.
Yeah.
These other 2, again, not saying when it's going to happen, not saying how it's going to happen. It could just be that, hey, these guys are coming to get you.
Yeah.
Watch your back. And you didn't on the first one. You didn't even watch your front.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. MDH, fire.
I love it. Shout out to MDH for the super chat. Great take. Great super chat. Definitely agree. Justin Kennington dropping $1.99. It will be Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania this year.
Talked about that. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility, right?
Yeah, I think that would be a really good marquee match to have on. They don't. I don't know if those two would have the main event. I don't think they would.
No. Mm-mm.
But I do think it's a really good marquee match. It kind of puts Roman on the show, gets Roman involved in the storyline and stuff. I don't hate it. I wouldn't hate a singles match between these two. I need it to be as serious as him and Punk, and I need them to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
That's a must.
Seth versus Roman or Seth versus Roman and Punk, I think both ways go fine.
Yep.
So, shout out to Justin Carrington for the super chat. Thank you, brother. Let's talk about something for a second.
Yeah.
Because really, I think what this is coming down to is that WWE just has a lot of things they can do here.
Yeah, I mean, they could do so many different things in so many different ways.
Yeah. But I think the real question that we should be asking is what main events WrestleMania Night 1?
Well, what are you saying?
I mean, after last night with Io Sky, Bianca, and Rhea, I think there's a very good argument that you can make that the women can main event WrestleMania Night 1.
Okay.
I think 100%. I think you could have Gunther and Jey Uso open up Night 1, and then Jey Uso beats Gunther.
Yeah.
And then I think you can close the show with the women, triple threat, which I'm cool with. I think that works. I think you can make an argument if they do Seth versus Roman versus Punk.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a way to make that the main event.
Mm-hmm.
I think out of those three matches, I don't if a title's not on the line, if a world championship isn't on the line, I don't think it should main event.
Okay.
But I think you can make the argument for Rollins, Punk, and Roman. With that being said, I think for Night 1 WrestleMania, personally speaking, as it currently stands, as the show that I'm watching, I think this is the year that you let Io, Bianca, and Rhea go out there 50 minutes, 45, 50 minutes. Go let them, no restrictions, literally just go out there and let them do their thing.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not. I definitely think you can make the argument for that, but you can also make the argument for the tag team match. I think there's a good argument for both.
So are you under the assumption by saying that? The reason why I don't include that is because there hasn't been any indication that
I am under the assumption that eventually we get Punk involved in that storyline here soon.
Okay. But let's say, based on what we were talking about earlier on the stream, we were talking about the cage match with Roman, or with Punk and Rollins at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
So if Roman comes out and Punk invokes his favor from Paul Heyman, which is Roman Reigns is to not, I don't know, that sounds kind of silly when you think about it, but Roman Reigns has to go take care of Seth, and Roman and Punk kind of strike a deal where Roman doesn't go after Punk for an hour or something like that. I don't know.
Punk has to leave, or Roman has to leave Punk the hell alone or something like that.
Something like that. And Roman just goes into the steel cage and literally kills Seth Rollins. That sets up their WrestleMania match. It's a singles match. So let's say that happens.
You have to remember in that vignette with Paul, he did say we have all the time in the world to talk about it.
Yeah. So let's just say that happens, and then we have Punk and Cody versus John Cena and The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Main event Night 1. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I do think that's a huge possibility. Now looking at what happened, dude, when that man walked out here, I don't know. I just feel like you don't have Punk shoot from the hip like that on The Rock and Cena without there being some type of payoff to that at WrestleMania. Because why are we shooting on it now? He did say, I'll deal with you down the line. Obviously indicating, okay, I got to get through this Seth shit first, but I am going to deal with you. Thing is they made the match with him and Seth next week.
Okay.
And the question is really going to be answered, I think, next week.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah, bring it on.
Maybe we're all wrong.
We could be.
What if The Rock pointing, the 3 fingers? Okay, now it's 2 fingers. Mm-hmm. What if The Rock has somebody go after Punk after Punk's comments from his promo?
Oh my God.
What if Punk's pipe bomb that he dropped on The Rock and Cena leads to somebody attacking Punk in the steel cage match, leaving Seth Rollins victorious? And that person who does it, it's like, let's say The Rock shows up or John Cena shows up with that person, they stand tall over Punk. That's how you build to Punk and Cody versus The Rock and Cena.
That's a really good way to do it. That's a really good way to do it. But again, where does that leave Roman?
With Seth at WrestleMania.
The problem is there would be no signs of Roman in that match then. And how do you get to just have Roman interrupt Seth the following Monday or something?
Or SmackDown, yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
They planted the seeds at the Royal Rumble. They've planted the seeds over the last 15
So
years. There's a way.
Regardless where he shows up.
There is a way to get there, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All I know is, dude, to call out everything that The Rock has done and to say everything that he said about Cena, which we know is true. We knew that shit was true. We just didn't know who the hell was going to say it. Makes sense that it's Punk. He just says whatever the hell he wants. Come out here, this bullshit. You know, you've been feeding these people and the kids bullshit for the last 20 years. I mean, there has to be some type of importance behind that. Has to be.
I feel like if we are going to get a tag team match with The Rock and Cena at WrestleMania,
yeah,
there has to be a clear indicator for CM Punk to be involved. He dropped the pipe bomb. They would have to attack him or do something, or CM Punk would have to come to the aid of Cody, which I don't think he'll do that just yet.
Okay.
So I think that could make sense where he gets attacked and that's how Seth wins. And then when Seth wins, right, you have Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania. And if you really, really, really want to be crazy here, if you want to see what kind of nuts Triple H has, Seth Rollins beats Roman at WrestleMania because The Rock and Cena and whoever else is involved planted one more. Yeah. So now you have a mega team of Roman, Cody, and Punk being aligned with Cena, The Rock, Seth, and somebody else.
Yeah. Yep. I don't hate it.
It's crazy to think about because you're talking about the biggest names being put into a heel faction and then the biggest names being aligned as the baby faces. But that's the only thing I could think of right now, just off the top of my head while we're live, as to justify that. Now, with that being said, and I think this is really important, is I think we're getting a little too crazy with all of our ideas.
Yeah.
I think WWE is thinking so long term that they need to save a lot of stuff for after WrestleMania.
Right.
So I would go as far as arguing that WrestleMania Night 1 in New Orleans would be a multi-man tag team match between the corporation and the good guys. And then I think this year they just kind of leave it alone for Cody to die Night 2 when Cody and The Rock and somebody just obliterate Cody Rhodes. Now, with that being said, if that happens, if I'm right, that opens up the door for the women to main event Night 1, or it opens up the door for Jey Uso and Gunther to main event Night 1, or who else, whatever else comes up. You never know.
I feel you. I feel it. I don't hate it.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think you end the night with Jey Uso and Gunther. You could, because it'll be a feel-good moment.
No, I think you can open up with that.
But here's the thing. You want one of the nights to at least make the people happy. Because Night 2, like I said, I'm 100% convinced, 1,000,000% convinced. John Cena, it's the opposite of WrestleMania 40. Cody Rhodes will not be celebrating. Cody Rhodes will be lying flat, beaten, batted up, bruised, bloody.
See, my problem with that is that feels like rinse and repeat too.
It's the opposite of what they did last year.
Yeah, that's how
it's the same thing
we did the year before.
No, listen, Billy, you're not getting that.
I know, I hear you, and I know
the idea it was calculated from last year with Cena pointing at the belt. This was the new era. Now Cody Rhodes' new era is done because this Rock Corporation stands tall. It's not. It makes a lot of sense. I promise you. I know you're not convinced that Cena will win, but I'm telling you, I think that's how it works.
I'm not convinced that Cena.
But if my philosophy is right, then Jey Uso beating Gunther to end the night 1 kind of makes sense.
Yes, it does. It makes sense in that regard.
Now the real question is, would you pick that over the women's triple threat match if that happened? I think the women.
See, I don't. I actually think the women in that case should main event.
That's what I'm saying. I think they'll have a better match quality than Gunther and Jey. And maybe Jey surprises us, but if you're going
I think
purely
match
off match
quality.
quality.
Yeah, I do think the women would end up with a better match.
And I do think those three women have held it down for WWE for so long. Which,
Especially in the
way,
women's division.
by the way, if you know Triple H's booking and you've seen how he's booked all three of them, I think it's very safe to say Triple H is very high on all three of them. If Triple H was just a little nice and he was like, you know what, go out there for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and deliver us an all-time great match, regardless of gender, just go out there and fucking kill it. I promise you right now, everybody will watch that match on their fucking hands and knees going crazy.
Yeah.
So therefore, I think there's a very, very good argument. From a storyline perspective, it makes a lot of sense to main event. But I think from a match quality perspective, I would have a little bit higher hopes for that than Jay and Gunther. And it's nothing against Jay and Gunther, but imagine if you start off Jay yeeting and he wins the world title from Gunther.
That's a hell of a way to start Mania.
And what did we say in the beginning of the stream? The way you start the show sets the precedence for the rest of the night.
Jay yeeting all around, winning the World Heavyweight Championship feels like when Daniel Bryan beat Sheamus many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Or Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan, excuse me. That was a very big tone. Like that set the tone of the show.
Imagine this, though. Imagine if Jey Uso shocked the world and like beat Gunther quickly.
That's what I'm saying. You do that the same way that you did Sheamus and Daniel Bryan.
I know there's a lot of people that are going to fucking hate that take, but I will say this. WWE is throwing swerves and they're trying to shock people. You can't shock me. I'm coming up with a million theories. So
right now, nothing can shock us.
Yeah, at this point. Yeah, good point, though.
I wouldn't hate it.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see.
It is. Sure. It is.
Yeah. We did get a super chat that I met. But let me pull that up.
Damn. This guy just missing shit.
Dude, the chat's crazy.
I know, dude. They've been going off.
We got the best community in the world, baby. Shout out to everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying our conversations, man, because there's some. I don't think you're going to find this level of fantasy booking and ideas and creative stuff.
No, I don't think you'll find it anywhere. I think it was the super chat was from Phil. Yeah.
Yeah. $9.99. Maybe Rock has 3 people being taken down, leaving Cody at his most vulnerable. 3, John Cena joins him and turns heel. 2, Seth Rollins, who is Cody's shield. 1, maybe Randy, who knows. So I like the idea of Randy.
But Randy naturally makes sense, but I don't know if he makes sense with The Rock.
But I also look at Randy as they've planted the seeds with him and Cody, that it would be really cool for Randy to come to the aid of Cody, knowing that deep down inside, he is still that fucking snake that when time comes. Would Randy really want to battle for a world title over John Cena and The Rock and Seth being aligned, or would he rather just go after Cody when the time is right? So he helps him until he slithers behind him, and then eventually
he's a smart snake.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not opposed to this at all, though. No. I'm not opposed to anything at this point because literally WWE has gained my trust.
Yes,
they didn't have my trust before. Now they got it.
They do. And they're telling me that anything can happen, and we promise in some regard it will make sense.
Yes. I did mention before, too, with Sami Zayn turning heel, going after Jey Uso.
Jey Uso potentially being the next guy?
No. What if Sami Zayn's heel turn comes at the help of John Cena and The Rock? Just saying, there's that possibility too. Jay wins the World Heavyweight Championship, and then Sami wants the world title. Jay obviously associated with the Bloodline and Cody, and that's how they do it. I don't know. Maybe that's a possibility.
Sami sells his soul to get the big one.
Yeah,
because he's been struggling so much to get it.
Yeah,
I like that.
Maybe Cena, Owens, and Sami, The Rock. I don't know. I'm just saying. There is literally no wrong answers here.
No.
Shout out to Phil for the super chat. Thank you, brother. Just one quick thing before we end the show. I see some people in the chat mentioning it. I just got notified as well. Chavo Guerrero is headed back to TNA.
Oh, shit. For real?
Yeah, so I'll talk about that at full length in a video. But he's headed back to TNA. So TNA brought in the Colognes. They're bringing in Chavo. Yeah.
Chavo Guerrero wrestling, man. Do you think he actually wrestles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be interesting to see.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I can imagine Chavo still got it.
Yeah, that guy ain't losing it.
Right.
So.
Great place for him, too, TNA.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Go help all those new stars that are coming up. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
What a fucking banger show, bro.
Bro, this show, I have so much fun doing this every day. I love this show. Dude, amazing.
Revolution is on Sunday.
Yes. I forgot
And
about that.
I know some people in the chat asked if I'm happy to watch it. I think it'll be a good show. We'll see what happens.
I plan on turning it on because I am excited for some of the matches on there.
But
It'd be
you guys
even
don't-
fucking better if they put it on HBO Max or whatever.
yeah, that's not happening, buddy.
No, I know. Tony Khan just
Billy, I gotta tell you this. I put out a tweet. This is my truest opinions. I don't tweet no fucking bullshit. I'm not a fucking loser. I tweet what I feel. Nobody on this app could convince me that WWE isn't the best. The opening segment on WWE Raw was so insanely good. Triple H is in his bag and nobody comes close. Go argue with the tree. I ain't listening. I can't wait for WrestleMania. Wow. I got a shit ton of people just telling me why that's wrong. So I just want to end my stream with a little banger of a message to everybody. Go argue with a fucking fish. Go argue with a tree. Go argue in the fucking mirror. Don't argue with me. I don't give a fuck about any of these other shows that exist. I watch what I watch because I enjoy what I watch. And if I enjoy what I watch, I'm going to keep watching what I watch. And the thing is, when I don't like WWE, as I did last week, I complained, you're going to see that side of me too. But when I really, really like something, I'm going to make that very known. And if it really makes you guys that fucking mad that I don't give a fuck about AEW, just remember at the end of the day, a fish ain't going to listen to you. A tree ain't going to listen to you. And I sure as hell ain't listening to you. I lost my voice. It's going to get worse. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching The Angle Show. Make sure you subscribe to Billy at BillyTKO. And he's everywhere, TikTok and YouTube and Twitter and this and that and fucking whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. And I'll see you guys in the Discord. If you're not in there, join the Discord. With that being said, peace.
Peace.